Welcome back for another video, guys. Alright, so let's see. Today I'm going to be talking about when I was in high school and I ended up going to Juvenile Hall. I ended up spending 4 days in there. 4 days? Yeah. Wasn't very fun. I'm going to try my best to say this story with no fabrication, but it's been like 5 or 6 years. So it's been a hot minute. But yeah, it was back in like 2015, 2016, around that time. I was in high school and me and my friend were going to get a Gatorade before practice. So school's out, we get in my car, we drive across the street, go to the liquor store, get a Gatorade. We start driving out, and the cops where I live, they always like to mess with you for some reason. I don't know, it's like they needed like some type of like power, or I don't know, they just mess with every high school kid there was. They always getting pulled over for no reason. But it was finally my turn, and he runs my plates, and he knows who I am because like I'm always in the newspapers. I'm always in the newspapers for like athletics, wrestling, cross country, all that stuff. So he ends up pulling me over, and he's like, "Oh, how's it going?" I was like, "Good." He's like, "Oh, so you're wearing no seatbelt?" I was like, "I had a seatbelt on." He's like, "Oh, you do have a seatbelt on. I guess I couldn't see it because you're wearing camouflage." I was like, "What? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." I was like, "All right, whatever." So he runs my plate. He comes back, he's like, "Hey, like, we have a warrant for your arrest." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, there's a warrant for your arrest." And then he listed off this address, which was my previous address. I didn't even live there. I haven't lived there since I was like 10. It was in Elk Grove, California. And I was like, yeah, that's my old address. So they keep going back to the cop car, come back to me like 6, 7 times. And then finally, my friend in the car gets out. He's like, "I'm going to practice." And I was like, "Oh, well, thanks. All right, bye." He ends up going to practice. And he's like, "Oh, wait, Coach Kyle's is over there stopped by the cops. Like, he's going to get arrested." And he was like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Yeah, I see the warrant." And then my coach ends up coming down because it's like right across the street. And the cops are like, "Yeah, they took me out of the car, put me in handcuffs." And I was like, "Dude, like, are you serious right now?" He's like, "Yeah, taking you in." I was like, "Dude, you serious? Are the handcuffs really necessary?" Like, I'm standing there and I coach wrestling for the kids since they were like freaking 4, and now they're like 8, and they all see me getting in handcuffs. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is not a good image. Like, I was like, this is ridiculous. And I start getting emotional. I'm like, oh my god, like, because this is 1 week before the qualifying tournament. If you don't go to the first wrestling qualifying tournament, then you cannot compete in any of it. And it was like 4 weeks before state, so if I didn't get to wrestle at the first tournament, I can't go to state no matter what. So I was getting emotional. Like, it's my senior year. I'm like, wow, I'm really about to lose out on this. So my coach ends up coming in now. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, because everyone in this town knows everyone. They're like, my coach's like, "Are you guys serious right now?" And he's like talking to him, and it wasn't getting good, but there was nothing he could do. So finally they end up hauling me all the way to jail, which is a cool 3 blocks away because the town's so damn small. And they start like fingerprinting me, and then they're taking pictures of me, and like I'm all crying like a little girl. I'm like, what the hell is happening? I'm like 17. I'm like, "Dude, are you serious right now?" Finally, they're like, "All right." It's been like 4 or 5 hours. I'm sitting in the stupid jail cell. They end up taking me all the way across to a different city, all the way to Juvenile Hall. And I get there, and I'm thinking like, there's no way I'm gonna stay here. Like, I know like every parent in the town, like the mayor knows me, like I'm super good with everybody, I don't do anything wrong, I'm a good kid. I'm like, there's no way I'm staying, like there's no way. I end up going through processing, and I see one of my assistant coaches who's like a parole officer. He's in the law enforcement. I was like, oh my god, like I'm going home, it's good. He goes, "What'd you do?" I was like, "I didn't do anything." He's like, "Okay." Walks away with like a big ass bulletproof vest. I'm like, "What do you mean, okay?" Didn't see him again. I was like, "What the hell is this?" But I ended up going like this little solitary confinement thingy, and they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna stay here for the weekend. All the judges have gone home because it's Friday." And I was like, "Dude, are you kidding me?" I start crying again. I'm like, "God damn, here I go, crying like a little baby again." And they end up strip searching you, and I was like, "Dude, are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then like I took all my clothes off. I'm just standing there butt naked in like this closed room with no windows. And he's like, "Now turn around, bend over, and cough." And I was like, bruh. So I did that, and they end up taking all my clothes away. They give me like these inmate clothes that are all like dark blue, like a blue like shirt and like dark blue pants, and like these weird looking shoes. And I was like, all right, whatever. They take me to my cell, and all of a sudden, like as I walk in, it's late at night, it's like 10. Like I start walking in, there's something about the new guy in Juvenile Hall. Everyone starts like banging on the walls. I was like, what the hell's happening? They're all like bang, 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 banging on the walls. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, dude, oh my god, they're like freaking orangutans beating the crap out of their cells right now. And the freaking guy, one of the big ass security guard guys, he's punching the wall like, shut up, shut up. And he's throwing like these big magnets over their windows so they can't see out. I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on in here, bro? I'm like, hell no. So he ends up putting me in my cell. He shuts the door, locks it. I'm just sitting there like crying, like, oh my god, I'm about to die. Like, what the hell is going on in here? And I couldn't sleep at all. Like, I'm laying there like trying to sleep, and all I hear, like, for some reason, I don't know whose idea this was, there's freaking vents at the top of your cell corners, and it connects to the next cell over. And there's some dude over there just yelling into my cell, calling me bad names and shit, like, what the fuck, blah blah blah, bitch. I'm like, dude, what the hell is happening? I'm like, oh my god. I'm just sitting there like, this is not good. So I finally fall asleep. I wake up the next day, and apparently there's a rule: if you don't get up and make your bed, you miss breakfast. I didn't know that, so I'm just sitting there with no made bed, just sitting there like, I don't want to go out there. Like, I don't want to go out there. They go by, the dude slides open the slot, looks, my bed's not made, he closed it. I was like, I don't get to eat. I'm just gonna starve today. I was like, alright, I guess I'm gonna starve today. Then, this Saturday, then I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn dude, like, this is not good. I'm just gonna sit here and not eat then. Alright. So I'm just sitting there. Then, finally, they skipped me for breakfast. Lunch, they slid a tray in, and they didn't even ask me if I wanted to come out. Everyone else is out hanging out. I'm over there like peeking through the window trying to see what's happening, because I haven't seen anybody in like, I don't know, hella time. Like, I ended up finding an ant and hanging out with it, because I was in there for over like 10 hours without talking to anybody. I was like, dude, I was just hanging out with an ant, like watching it crawl around. I was like, dude, I don't even know. But there was one little window behind my cell that looked outside, and I could like see like the freeway hecka far away, so I just watched the cars go by. That's a different story. Anyways, dude, I was like freaking out. Finally, it's time to let me out. It's dinner time. Like, I miss yard time, I miss breakfast, lunch, I had to stay in my room. Like, I didn't get to come out at all, but finally it's dinner time, and I get to come out, and I'm like, oh god, here we go. They're like, oh, come out, and like, I don't know, I was all intimidated. I was like, oh, hell no. They're all yelling and shit like, oh, he's a B word, we don't want that B out here, stay in your cell, B. I'm like, god damn. I was like, everybody, all like 30 people yelling. I'm like, dude, I'm like, this is not good. I'm about to get jumped my first day. Keep in mind, I had a blonde stripe through my hair for wrestling, so like, it already don't look good. Like, I was like, oh god, like, here we go. So I finally come out, and the guard will tell you to sit at a table. He's like, sit at that table. This ain't prison, this is Juvenile Hall. They're a little different. He was like, sit at that table. And like, I kind of went in there like, nah, bitch, don't sit here. I was like, and I stopped, and the guard got in my face. Like, I said, sit. I was like, oh shoot, like, I'll listen to this 6'4" dude. I was like, I'll sit down right here. I was like, dang. And they're like, oh, what'd you do? What'd you do? I was like, I literally didn't do anything. And they're like, oh, yeah? Well, me and my homies were jumping people. And I was like, oh god. I was like, alright, whatever. And then this other guy goes, yeah, I had a pound of weed on me. It wasn't mine though. I was like, what? I was like, what is happening in here? I was like, alright, whatever. And like, then I was like, alright, whatever. So I'm just sitting there eating my food, and I was like, why does everyone look so tense? Because I asked the guy that had weed, because I'm not scared of him, he only had weed. I was like, alright, what's up? I was like, what happened? He's like, everyone's like mean mugging their food. He's like, nothing, don't be eyeballing. He's all looking down. He was young, he was a kid, he was like 16. So I was like, alright, like, he's a little kid, like a little chubby kid too. And I think he stole his mom's car, and the weed was in the car. I think that's why he got in trouble. He said something about stealing a car. I was like, alright, like, whatever. But he was like, don't be eyeballing nobody. And I was like, what does that even mean? I was like, whatever. So there's scheduled days to have showers. It wasn't my day to shower, so I went back to my cell. As I'm on my way back to my cell, there's a sticker above it that says my last name. I'm like, bro, how many of my people come through here? Jimenez everywhere? I was like, alright, whatever. I was like, they already got my thing up there. So I went in, and next thing you know, I fall asleep. The next day, I made my bed. I was like, I'm not missing breakfast today, man. I am hungry. So I made my bed, I got my breakfast, and I hit the little phone button, and I call them. They're like, what? I was like, do I have a court date? They're like, yeah, it's Monday. I was like, what time? They're like, 3. I was like, okay. And I'm getting like paranoid. I'm like, thinking like stupid things like what if the world gonna end and I don't get to come out, stuff like that. I'm like, goddamn. But the next day comes, now it's Sunday, so Sunday's cool, you know, Sunday's church day, so everyone's all happy. And I guess there was one guy that was locked in his cell because it's lunchtime, or it's right after lunchtime. We got to go out to the yard. They had like people over here, like there was like a little Mexican group, there was a black group, and then there was like these other guys that didn't really fit in. The other guys that didn't fit in, they just did push-ups for some reason. They were like really scrawny, they were just doing push-ups. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, you do that in your cell, but alright. Then the black people were playing basketball, and then the Mexicans were playing like wall ball, where you hit them with the tennis ball, like run back and forth. You know what wall ball is. But then I ain't playing with nobody. I'm sitting with the awkward dudes that doing push-ups. I'm like, yeah guys, what's up? Like, how's it going, bro? But then I go back inside, we sit at the table, and this little Mexican guy goes, oh, what you banging, huh? Are you gay? You got a stripe in your hair. I'm like, oh god. I'm like, no, I wrestle for high school. We dye our hair every year before state. He's like, oh, okay. Looking at me all funny. I'm like, god, dude. I'm like, alright. So everyone thinks that I'm weird because I have a freaking blonde stripe in my hair. My hair's all black. I was like, alright. But then it's this church time. That's why we're inside again. This church time. So everyone's like happy. We get to talk to Jesus today. And some black guy starts coming down from his cell. And then there's a Mexican guy that I was sitting with. But I wasn't talking to him. He's not the one that stole the car with the weed. He's the other guy that's just doing nothing. I wasn't really talking to him. And I think he's the one that was jumping people. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But all I hear is the guards start yelling. All of them. They're like, don't look at him. Don't look at him. I'm sitting there oblivious. Like, who's not looking at who? I'm just looking. And this guy's holding his shower shoes because it's his turn to shower. So we get like these little brown, like reddish shower shoes. And he stops right in front of my table, like, the black dude's like this. And he drops his shoes. And they both stand up and start swinging. I'm like, what the hell is happening? All of a sudden, there's like a big ass siren. And these freaking guards, big. Dude, these guards are so big. They run out, they're like all 6'4". They all run out, they're all like slamming them on the ground. They're all like, everyone get under the table. I was like, under the table? I'm like on one knee, like, to like defend myself. I'm scared as shit. I'm on one knee with one hand on the ground, like looking around. The freaking, oh, wait. The bodyguard, or whatever, the security guard dude thinks that I'm gonna like jump in because I'm like in like a defense position, and he runs up and kicked me in the chest, and I was like, oh. And I just like fell, and like he put his knee on my back, my face in the ground. I was like, dude, hell nah. And he's like holding my neck in the ground, and they throw those two in their cell, and then I get dragged to my cell. I was like, I didn't even do nothing. I was like, Jesus Christ, because I was brown, I guess. I was brownish. They thought I was part of a gang. I was like, I'm not part of no gang. But then all I hear is, fuck, we don't get to go to church no more. I was like, what the hell? So I was in trouble, so I didn't get to come out of it was my day for shower too, because I have my sandals, but I didn't get to shower that day. So I went back to my cell. That was Sunday. Now it's finally Monday, and I have to go to school. And I go to school, these pencils are this big. I was like, what am I going to do with a pencil this big? So I'm in there, and he gives me like multi-steps equations, algebra, fucking all that easy shit that you learn in like 10th grade. And I'm over there just doing it. And he's like, the teacher guy, like they're normal teachers, they're not guards or nothing. He's like, what the heck, you know how to do this? I was like, yeah, I'm a senior in high school. I hope I could do a damn multi-step equation. He was like, oh my gosh. So he had me tutoring the little 14-year-olds in the class. And I was like, I better be getting paid for this. These little kids were trying to like poke each other with pencils. Like, y'all are weird, dude. What's wrong with you guys? But I was like, good thing school's over. Finally, it's time. Dude, this is where shit gets even crazier. It's time for me to go to my arraignment, where I go in and I have like my coach, my grandparents. Like, I got like the mayor of my town wrote a paper, the essay. Like, I got everything in my corner. Like, there's no way I'm staying. And then there's another big ass 6'4" security guard guy. I was like, all right. I was like, oh, I didn't do anything. I'm going home. He's like, yeah, that's what they all say. And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I didn't do anything. He's like, that's what they all say. And then this guy to my left goes, I didn't do anything either. I was just walking by this girl's house that has a restraining order against me, and I was just walking by, and I live a block away from it, I guess, but I was walking the long way home because I had a bad day, and she saw me out on the street outside of her house and called the cops, and that's why I'm here now, but I didn't even go there on purpose. I was like, what the hell? I was like, no, that's not why I'm here. And that dude got out. I was like, what the? All right, hold on, let me go back to where I was. But this girl was in before me. This black girl, she didn't get out. Like, she was found like guilty or something. The judge didn't like her. And she's like screaming and cussing, and she spit on that big ass black security guard, the 6'4" one. spit on him. I was like, oh no. He punched her in the chest, grabbed her, threw her on the ground, maced her, and dropped his knee in the back of her head, threw her in cuffs, and then threw her in a freaking cell with a bag on her head. I was like, what the hell just happened? She got freaking lit up. I was like, oh no, dude. I was like, I'm not talking crap to that guy. He was so mad. I didn't know. That was the guy I told him I didn't do it. I ain't saying another word to him. I was like, I ain't saying nothing to him. He gonna whoop my ass. I was like, nah, you got the wrong one. But I go in there, and they brought like my grades. They brought the news articles. Like, they brought everything. They're like, yeah, this is totally a mix-up. You don't belong in here. Like, they let me out. So they're like, you're arraigned. You'll be out of here in an hour. I was like, all right, perfect. I go back to my place where I was originally, my cell, but I'm out in the lobby because I'm free to go. I'm not in trouble no more. So I'm just sitting there. I'm all happy. I'm just waiting to get out. And the guy that was walking by that girl's house that has a restraining order, and he doesn't know why he walked the long way because he had a bad day. That guy, yeah, he was in there too. We both got out. He was like, yeah, man, I ain't walking down that street again. I was like, oh my God, bro. I was like, don't go that way. I was like, but we're sitting there just talking. He's like, yeah, bro, we both got out. He's all celebrating. He's like, I see, like, blah, blah, blah. I see my parents. I'm like, what the heck? Dude, kids in there were like 16 and they had like 400-something days on them. I was like, dang, what the hell? I was like, dude, I don't know how y'all spend your life. I was in there for 3 days, 4 days, and I was losing my damn mind. So I get out, my parents pick me up, blah, blah, blah. I end up talking to the cop coach that I saw in there. He made sure I got put in the most baby cell place you could get. Like, there's A block, D block, I guess you could say, but like they're color coded. I was in the baby one with all like the little 16-year-olds. Those are some big ass 16-year-olds, first of all, but hold on. I wasn't even in there with the killers, with the gangsters. I was in there with like the wannabe little scrubs, and I was still scared. I was like, what the hell, bro? I'm too small for jail, bro. I can't be going there. I was like, dang. But yeah, that's my story. And if you wonder what I did, I was in 8th grade, and I gave this girl a piggyback ride, right? And she was a little bigger than me. She was like 100 pounds. I was like 72 pounds. And we fell, and her shoulder hit the wall, and she had a bruise, and her mom wanted a restraining order because she's kind of crazy. And then they sent it to the address for court in Elk Grove, where I haven't lived in 6-7 years, and I never got the notice. So I got a fine or whatever, a restraining order for fleeing court that I didn't know about because she wanted a restraining order. So that's why I didn't even do nothing. I was like, what the hell? Never give another girl a piggyback ride again. They'll mess your life up. So yeah, that's my thug story, how I became a gangster. I started sweating telling that story. That was a good story. I haven't told that story in a while. That thing was so crazy, bro. I was crying. I cried so many times. I never cried so many times in my life. I was scared as hell. But yeah, that's my story, man. Dude. Oh, crap. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for listening to my story. I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time, I'll see you later.